this all happened as a result of some discussions that a group of us were having after the Rio Olympics, and we got to know a number of the athletes, the women athletes who came back from Rio, gold medalists in many respects, and weren't getting the same level of support that we often see for Olympic champions on the men's side of the ledger. And we'd already been talking to a number of very senior Australian representative cricketers and realised that there was a gap in the support for women athletes, particularly elite athletes in this country, about their futures and where they would take their great passions and skills in the future. And we immediately turned to the notion of mentorship and support from women from different industries and sectors, but loving sport, to make connections with those athletes so that we could provide them with mentorship. But there has been a missing piece of our story to date, and it's been Victoria. And as Em said, we've got other parts of the country who now have chapter leaders and doing great work. But Victoria, I'm sure none of the other states will mind me saying, my heart is in Victoria when it comes to sport, and this is the sporting capital of the world in many respects. And so I want to pay respect to all of the Victorians on the call. We have 2 sensational Victorian chapter leaders. I'm sure they are well known to all of you, but I do want to introduce them as part of today's launch. And of course, Peggy O'Neill and Kate Palmer. We couldn't have got 2 more exceptional leaders to help us with the launch into Victoria, and they're going to be co-chairs of the Victorian chapter.
The biggest thing I'd say, without trying to take too much time, is I think my mentors have given me a chance over time to see a bigger picture, but also to listen to my gut. I found that often there's times I think I knew what to do and I was too afraid to make that commitment, and they unlocked the permission. So I really felt that mentorship has been invaluable to my personal and professional life, and who I've become, not so much what I've been able to achieve.
Bridie, when you achieve something so significant that you've been working on for such a long time and you achieve it in your 40s, does that mean that you don't have a cap on what you believe you can achieve? Like, could you set another goal that seems audacious and feel quite within your ability to go and do that?
I think it does, actually. I think that, again, I want to say I'm not a world record holder. I'm not a world champion or an Olympic gold medalist like Alisa. But I think that when you set about a task that is very, very difficult and multiple challenges are put in your way, and then you have to, like at the Olympics, you have to break your world record at the time that they say. You don't get to choose when you feel good. You have to show up at that time, and it's being broadcast all over the world, and the officials are there and the clock starts and you have to go. What that teaches you is to trust yourself and the process. So it was the greatest sporting achievement of my life, not because I did break it, but because I tried it. I tried the hardest thing, and I put myself on a stage where everyone would be looking at me, and I was prepared to fail. So then you feel later, oh my God, the world didn't end. Also, the record got broken by someone else, because records get broken, they don't get held. So then you start to feel satisfaction in the thing that you did, not whether or not your name is still on a trophy somewhere or a medal. So you start to believe in yourself, and that the sensations or the feelings or your gut, you start to trust those things. And I do think it just took me some time to feel those things. Now I feel like I can be in a meeting with important people who are very powerful, and I can still say, I have a question, or I don't know if I agree. I never would have said that in my 20s. So I think it takes elements of failure and risk, and knowing the world doesn't end if you try.
And then from the business side of things, I never expected to be in this career at all. So I never had anyone involved in media in my life until the last probably few years. And a big part of that was someone who probably just gave me the confidence to be able to use my voice in a way that I never really was overly confident in using, particularly on air. And Bridie might have spoken about it as well, with just inflections and being a female to be really, crank the voice up at stages and being confident in what you're saying is Dave Barham, who at Channel 10 got me on lead commentary for the Big Bash for the first time.
Thank you for asking us to be involved. And my colleague Liz Broderick reminded me recently when we were talking about women in sport, change may seem glacial. But we've made progress. We need to believe in the possibility of that change. We collectively have a responsibility to maintain the momentum. And for me, that's working with the wonderful Peggy O'Neill to deliver a great program for female athletes in Victoria, and to actually engage our executives, our senior executives in this state with those elite athletes is such a wonderful opportunity. So thank you, and over to you, Peggy.
I'm very honoured to be able to help, and in the end, Christine, you're a very persuasive person, and then I thought it will be a lot of fun. And I think to show that the interest in the Minerva Victoria chapter is, for an inaugural event, this is a pretty good crowd of people, and I think it'll only grow from here, and I'm more than happy to help when I can.
But this is a joyous day. And so many lovely faces. For those of you in Victoria, we think about you every day. Honestly, it's really tough. And I talk to quite a few of my colleagues and friends in Victoria pretty regularly. And God, you guys have been doing this for a very long time. So hopefully, being involved in events like today can bring you some joy.